on the side?
Wherever you like it, wherever you think looks good. I'll go on the side a little bit.
On the side, because I talked to you this way.
I like that.
Do we address each other or the old man Rivers?
I know, this is so fun, right? All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bass and Bump Show. We have a very special guest today. Every guest that we have on is very special. Oh, this is Mr. Kyle Buchholz from Throwback Baits, the founder, CEO, and administrator. So, this is a long time coming because we've actually talked about this one a few times with Adrian. We're like, hey, we should do a father-son podcast, get together and do like something funny. We haven't really done like a sit down yet.
It's true.
So finally, here we go. Got my own little platform, a little show.
And what better place to be than where it all began?
True. So I figured we would kind of just go through who Kyle is because he's in the videos a lot, and I'm sure like some of you guys know, but he is a big part of my life, and I'd like to think that I'm a big part of your life as well.
You are.
We are.
Very much so.
We are. Brothers. My brother. So we are.
GoPro clip that.
Best friends. GoPro post that. So we've known each other for almost 4 years now. We've probably been talking for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like we probably were chatting on Instagram before we even met each other. Basically, I found out about you because I saw your original Instagram. This is go back to 2020, before Throwback had even dropped anything, before an official Wake Walker was even out on the market. I was on Instagram scrolling, and you know how you get the little recommended accounts to follow, right? Of course, everybody gets that. And I saw the one with the original orange TB logo, right? the good stuff. And I saw it, and I was like, it caught my eye. I was like, hey, that's interesting looking. Clicked on it. I scrolled down, and I saw all your little pictures where you're taking pictures of you making the bait and your logos that you had made. And I was like, damn, looks clean. Like, so I hit follow because it looked good. It looked different, right? And so I hit follow, and a couple months later, maybe a couple months later, I've been following for a little while. Mr. Kyle hit me up. Said, hey man.
I was gonna say, I think I hit you up first.
You hit me up first.
Messaged you first.
And we chatted for a little bit. You just talked about Texas fishing, and you were like, hey, do you want to wake bait? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys remember old Clifford, the big red wake, I should have brought it in here.
I think you phrased it as, I have this awfully like bright red bait that I painted just to see, because I had got this new bottle of red and I wanted to see what it looked like on the whole bait. So I naturally sprayed an entire bait, and I was like, hey, I have this really awful one. You were like, I want it. You told me red in Texas was the way.
You didn't even tell me what color it was first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I opened it as a surprise. It was a surprise. So I opened the box, and it's like, whoa, it's like blood red. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was immediately like, dude, this is sick. So I took it out the first night. I was catching fish on it. And
I'll never forget the messages you sent me. You were like, hey man, this thing's broken. And I was like, oh fuck. You were like, the fish won't stop biting it. And I was like,
it just keeps these green things just keep biting it over and over again. That was Wake Walker V1. Yeah. That was before
any drop. So, I had made like the first probably 5 or 10, and that was one of the first 5 or 10.
It's so funny because that bait is so much different than what the new one is now. Yeah. So the Wake Walker that you guys know is technically version 2, right? Yeah. And if you've seen the OG around, or if you've been around long enough, you know what it looks like, the big circle eye.
Circle eyes and the indented fin. It's like carved to the fin inward.
They were all handmade, which was very cool.
Yeah.
So that was the first one I got. Fast forward a little bit further, I'm like, hey dude, I'm going to come up here to Minnesota. Let's fish. It was just kind of on a whim. It was just like...
Yeah, you went to Florida, and then you stopped in Nashville or Tennessee, and then you were like, actually made it up here. Yeah, I was like, sure. No offense to you, but like some homeless dude on Instagram was like, hey, well, I'm going to be up there. I was like, yeah, fucking we'll see. I doubt you show up. Sure enough, you did.
I showed up.
Yep.
I showed up, man.
Hooked the boat up, went fishing for a day. Oh, La Squita.
Get that damn La Squita.
We fished at one of my favorite lakes. Took you to one of my favorite spots.
Where do we go?
It's a big fish lake.
That's right.
We caught like 2 fish. We missed one good one. And then we caught, it was super fun. No, we caught a couple fish. But it was fun. It was a fun lake to fish. And then we had the most iconic photo where everyone thought that was like a 6-pounder. It was like a 3.5. I think that's like what blossomed.
Dude, remember I threw the G-Crack, the little Bellas shad, and I hooked one. I don't know if it was the same fish or not, but I hooked one. Yeah. It jumped 4 miles out of the air.
It was good.
Out of the water. And then I pitched right back in the same spot and immediately caught
it was too fast. It was like 30 seconds.
I was like, I was like, dude, that had to be
Where
the
it had
same
to be the
fish.
same fish.
But then we took our iconic father-son photo,
Yeah.
and the vibe. I feel like the vibe ever since has been father-son.
That's true.
I feel like,
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
I don't know why that photo screamed father-son, but it did.
It just did. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, here's me and my old dad.
Yeah, it was like a GoPro ad.
You didn't know.
It was so perfect.
I was 19 when I met Kyle, and you didn't know until like what, 3/4 of the way through the day.
Yeah, I was like, so what are you, like 24? Because I think I was.
You were 27 or 28, right? Or
No. If it was 4 years ago,
yeah,
it was 20, 24, 25. I was probably 24.
No.
Yeah. I just turned 29.
You just turned 40.
Yeah, no, I was like, so you're like, what, 21, 22? And you're like, oh, I'm 19. I was like, oh, shit. This is almost illegal.
Like the start.
Get off my boat.
Start of a bad video.
Yeah.
There's something sketchy.
Yeah, well, good thing you guys didn't ask me to stay over before I knew that.
True. 19, and I was a little baby.
You were.
And then...
sleeping on a Tacoma.
Yeah, dude.
Literally this.
Tundra.
Literally, oh, sorry.
It's under. It's okay. It's okay.
Cut it.
It's under.
Literally like this.
Yeah.
That baffled my mind when you told me that you sat in there.
8-foot bed, and right here we got one.
Yeah.
This is.
But you were like, yeah, I just sleep in the front like this, and I was like, what?
Dude, I was like,
what?
I was like a bum.
Like I was 19 once,
Dude,
but I would never do that.
I was a bum back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a real bum. I hadn't
bum.
I hadn't like slept in a place in a while. So
That's crazy.
That was the first time staying at your house. Was the first time in a while that I'd slept in like a nice bed.
Yeah, I'll never forget. You were like, hey, no, I told Nicolette, I was like, hey, he's just sleeping out his truck. Can you like sleep the night here? I think you could. And we didn't have. The basement downstairs was open at that point.
That's right.
Without the other kids. So yeah, we stay one night, and then it just like happened the next night, and the next night, and then you're like, I'll be here for a week, and then you were there for like a month.
Yep.
And then the kids like called you their brother, and we called you our son, and adopted you just by like, what's it called? What's that?
Found family, dude.
No, what's the marriage thing called when you're with someone for like 8 years, and then you're technically married by the law?
I don't know.
We adopted you. That's how.
I don't know nothing about
You spent a month in our house, and then you were our child. So
For sure. That's like, I guess that's the father-son vibe. Mm-hmm. And then we took that little trip to Idaho. That was pretty funny. That was funny.
So sick.
Random trip to...
Yeah, Nicola had like a photography trip.
Yeah, I was going to say, y'all were doing most
And I was going to go, and I was like, a day before, I was like, you want to go to Idaho? And you were like, sure. So we drove out to Idaho like 26 hours. Yeah, and then we just did like, it was you, me, and River.
Yeah.
The River was like probably 1 year old, and I had her on my on baby carrier the whole time, and we just adventured to town of Idaho. What was it, Bose?
Bose? No, it was Bozeman. It was, I don't know, it was something.
Yeah.
But it was
so sick.
It was a bummy little town. But
we found like the one bass pond in the whole place.
The one pond in all of Idaho that has bass in it, and they were all about this big.
Yeah, we caught one that was like this big, and we freaked out.
It was like a half pound instead of a quarter pound.
Yeah, that was sick though, because we were throwing like the lightest gear. That was actually super. That was like a BFS
the
trip.
Little like gyro stars.
Yeah, that was that was actually a really fun trip, doing absolutely nothing. We like walked up the road. We just walked everywhere.
That was goofy. That was fun. We were definitely. That was a good bonding trip. I remember because it was more like you guys were like, hey, you want to just help.
Yeah,
you know,
it was like, do you want to be part of our family for the trip?
Come
it wasn't like come fish with us.
Yeah, right. It was like come along and help.
Do work things.
I was like, of course, dude. Like that's what I'm fucking here for.
Cool.
You know what I mean? I feel an obligation, you know, to all my friends to help like out just in general.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of what it's all about. You know what I mean? Just being friends with somebody. It's like, hey, I'm gonna help you, and you're gonna help me, and we help each other. It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Right.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like we get a lot done together.
We do.
A lot of content, a lot of videos.
Yeah. For living across the country.
Yeah.
We get a considerable amount of things done.
I know. It's kind of funny.
There's people that live like 10 minutes away from me that I can't rely on for stuff.
True.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I
appreciate that.
I'll be there.
It's actually kind of sick because I'll be like, hey, do you want to come up for like the tournament? You're like, yeah, let's drive up.
I'll be there.
That's very cool.
I'll be there.
I appreciate that.
Not like I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
I mean, I do have to go to work, but that is it. That is it now. It's cool now.
Your office is parked outside my house right now.
Which is kind of insane. It's insane that we've gotten to that point where it's like now I'm finally at the point where I'm taking these trips and I'm like, oh, this kind of pays for itself instead of like, instead of me like, oh, I have to fundraise to get this trip going. It's like, no, I'm just going and making the videos and that's a sick feeling.
It's funny. I feel like back when we started, it's hot in here. I feel like when we started, it's like 78 in here.
It's just right, dude. Just right.
When we started, the dream for both of us was like, man, I would just love to be able to paint baits. If I could just paint baits and make a living, not even good money, a living, I'd be set.
Right.
And you were like, man, if I could just make video, if I could just live on the road out of my van, you'd be set. And I feel like we're so far beyond that.
Well, I remember you always telling me, like, dude, you know you can do this, right?
Yes.
Like, I remember, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember you going, like, looking at me in the eye and you going, hey, you know you could do this for a living, right? And I was like, in that second right there, in that moment, I was just like, oh, shit. Like, I really could. I don't have to fucking...
Yeah, I don't know. You've always had, like, you've always had that edge. And it is like an edge. It's like an edge that no one else has because you had, like, kind of just had it all right there at your fingertips.
Right.
And I remember, like, you coming
I had nothing but a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing but a lot.
Right. When you have nothing, it's like a blank slate. Like,
exactly.
you could build. That's why I remember being like, you can build this.
Right.
You can do this. You can do anything.
I definitely feel like you mentored me a lot when it comes to, I guess I say business, but just like becoming who I am, you know what I mean? Chasing, like, I feel like I always kind of had that drive, but I wasn't like exactly like targeted with it.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and I have a pretty good goal in mind, you know what I mean? And I feel like we both have our good goals. Wow. That was
damn. Sorry.
You missed it, dude.
Yeah, no, we definitely have always had like aligned goals. It's cool because when I met you, you didn't really have any sort of following, and I had nothing. Yeah. And then you blow up way faster than we have, but we've always been kind of like, well, you're up here and I'm here, but we're still...
Right. Well, I mean...
it's growth. It's cool. It's just cool to see.
But it's in different ways, too. You can't look at the number on Instagram and go like, oh, I'm way bigger than you, or I'm way more successful than you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of differences there because you're running a company and what I'm doing is completely different. You know what I mean? But like I said, symbiotic relationship.
Very much so.
You know, I help you guys make content. I help you guys advertise, and then... You guys help me just live and do what I need to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get out there and make content and catch fish.
I always remember telling you, like, we can't pay you right now, but that's the goal. And now we're to a place where you're our number one pro staff.
I believed in it from the beginning. I remember.
That is one thing that I've always, like, that's funny you say that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. But, like, people are like, how do I do what Marshall does? And I'm like, or how do I get free baits? People always ask that. And I'm like, you got to believe in the brand. Yeah. Like, buy a bait, find a way to get a bait. I know they're expensive. Prove yourself and stick with it. Like, you have set such a, like, you just laid the groundwork for every person who ever asked me any question to be like, let's just do this. And then when you tell them that, they're like,
it's easy.
Okay, I'll just buy one or I'll go throw a spinner bait.
It's easy, dude. Yeah. You get free baits. It's
like,
really
all
easy.
you gotta do is live on the road for 4 years. And hope that you blow up.
I had somebody comment today that I posted that video where I broke off on the metro.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it's lucky you get them for free." And I was like,
"Damn right."
Lucky, lucky.
I earned that
to do what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not to be like I'm that guy, but you know, all the work.
When you grind for 4 years, you kind of have that. You have the chip on your shoulder. Be like, yeah, I did earn that.
I did. I earned it. All right.
I worked hard.
I earned the free bait.
You know how many nights we've spent out here?
Oh my god!
In the first year or two, and it was just me.
So we gotta go back a little bit. So
yeah, rewind.
So that's like general, just us meeting. So now I can kind of go fill in some details, right? So we met. It was kind of on a whim. It was, I don't know. I don't know why it just felt right to come up here. Yeah, it was on a total whim. It happened. Cool. We're friends now, and this was before the shop that is in Maple Grove right now. This is before the shop. This was when everything was being built in this room right here, which is very funny that we decided to do it here. I think this is cool. I walked in the side door and it felt like a little...
The old days.
It felt like the old days. You know, I walked in, I was like, oh man. I remember when I used to walk in here and I used to walk in and I used to have my little bag of goodies from the gas station.
Like, that's what I was going to say too. You didn't like cook back then.
No.
You just ate like ramen.
I was just eating like
Pockies things.
I was just not eating good stuff.
Pockies.
But I'd walk in with my little bag of goodies. I'd be like, all right, what are we going to watch on the TV now? What are we going to make tonight?
And the boat was right here and you'd sit in the boat while I worked and then you watch TV.
Yes.
And show me corn bugs.
Maybe sand a bait or two. Corn bugs.
Corn bugs.
Dude,
I was telling Joe Perry about that whole situation the other day, and it was like reliving trauma.
You can't explain corn bugs. If anyone knows what corn bugs is, if you
leave a comment below.
If you're somehow listening to, I just doubt it. I really doubt anyone listening knows what corn bugs is. That's just the most obscure piece of media ever. But yeah, we used to deep dive on YouTube and sit there and talk about baits and what are we going to make, and painting different stuff, and I put a lot of hooks on. I remember I was pretty good at that. Yeah. That was about the only thing I was good at.
Pretty much. I give you like something, a box to sand, and then you just be like, phone.
I'm not a good tinkerer. I'm not a good tinkerer, dude. It felt like one bait.
No, you know what? Like, you have your lane. You do what you do well, and I do what I do well.
Right.
So that's why it works. You know.
I like that you're.
I can't sit on a paddleboard all day and drag worms and skunk. That's not my thing.
Totally fair. I get that.
I like to go out and fish. I love to do that. I don't get to do it often, so I want to catch when I go out there. You know, I'll just find spots. I will say, like, also I could not fish in Texas.
Yeah.
I can fish up here. Yeah. I have my lakes up here. I got my milk run. I love it. But Texas is a grind. I don't know. Sorry. I'm getting off track.
I don't know if I could fish in Texas.
Good God.
That's what this is for. It's for getting off track. Okay. Yeah. This is a podcast, and it's more. I don't know. This is just like friends hanging out. This isn't like I hate to be like this is a podcast. Like, I feel like everybody's got a fucking podcast and all this.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to do a hangout thing. So we go on tangents. You know, that's what happens.
Yep.
Anyway, this is where it started. We built a lot of baits in here. The shop didn't come till last year?
Last year.
Jesus.
Last April, so a year and a half ago.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, for two and a half years, it was out of the garage here. Mm-hmm. And as you guys know, I have 5 kids, and so my main hours of work, which actually align with you, because
they might not know.
Marshall's.
No, they might not know. Hold on, let me preface this.
5 children.
5 of them suckers. Yeah. Right? And
5 of them little suckers.
It is a wild house in there. Okay.
Yeah, Marshall, I'm surprised you hung around right away, because it was a lot of energy.
6, including me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was. Yeah, we didn't have Wilder when you first came.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, so it was 5, and then now it's 5 again.
It's crazy.
6.
But that being said, the main working hours of operation for Throwback in the first 2 years, 9 p.m. to like 2 a.m.
9 to 3.
Kids are asleep, Nicolette's asleep, and we're awake. And you didn't sleep when I first met you.
Dude, I barely slept.
It's the strangest sleep schedule I've ever encountered in my life.
I'm not.
We have a basement downstairs that the kids, to this day, it's Mason's room now. He calls it Marshall's room, but it has no windows in it.
Dude, you lose.
It is pitch black. Like, you could turn the light off in the middle of the day, put your hand right here, and you could not see it.
That room messed me up.
And it's ice cold.
I think that room messed me up forever. Like, until this day, I
think it fixed you.
I feel the effects of that room till this day. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, dang.
It's a beautiful place.
That was wild. It's
the first time you slept until like 3 p.m.
Dude,
I was like,
well,
what the fuck are you doing?
It's cold. It's cold, and you just have no idea.
And it's quiet.
What time?
Like, it's concrete on both sides.
Dead silent. I don't know if you're a silent sleeper. I'm a silent sleeper. I just like nothing. Yeah. I can just, if it's nothing, I'm just out. Like fan noise, highway doesn't bother me. Like, whatever, right? But definitely like silent. I'm just like, oh, God, I'm out. Yeah. And that was the ultimate. Like, the only thing that would kind of wake me up is like Judd running around on the on the ceiling, but it wouldn't. But it wasn't. It was muffled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you would sleep until like 2 or 3 p.m. and then you would stay up till like 5 a.m. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? It was great because I wasn't out here like working alone, so that was cool.
And I'd go fish like the evening hours, and then I'd get back soaking wet.
We need to address we never named it, but the time when you tried to fix, Marshall had this idea to fix his sleep schedule. So he said, because you were like doing 5 a.m. to like 4 p.m.
This is the second summer.
Yeah.
This is the second summer.
Yeah, this will line up though.
This is the next summer.
So Marshall's grand idea, I'm going to fix my sleep schedule. So he wakes up at like 3 p.m. one day. He decides that he's going to stay up through the night and then stay up through the next night.
And then fall asleep.
In the morning, right?
No, at 8 p.m. on the dot.
It was like 72 hours of awake time.
Dude, I was awake for a long time.
And like so you walked around the last day, and then you went fishing that morning.
I did. That's right.
And it was the mob video on camp, and you were like bloodshot eyes, and you were like, I look like a zombie. It was so funny. I don't think it worked.
No, it didn't. I don't think
you were able to.
Work.
It was very funny. You were very driven.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep at 8 p.m. that day, and then I woke up at 3 p.m. I was like, dude, what the heck?
You're so tired
it just kept going,
the past 72 hours.
I thought I could wake up after 8 hours and be like, oh,
yeah,
good.
That's not how it happens.
I don't know. I've never been.
It was admirable.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was pretty.
You set yourself on a goal, and you failed, but it was all right. Well, you didn't fail, but it didn't.
I mean, I made it through the 70.
It didn't produce.
All right, the 70. First, we got the 7-day fast. Now I'm gonna stay away for 7 days next.
So should we dive into the second summer?
Second summer, yeah, I guess so. Second summer was actually really important.
Yeah.
I think the first summer was like a good establishment
Yeah.
of just everything, and then
Planted the seed of friendship in business.
And then second summer was like, oh, Minnesota summer is happening this summer. Like I was like so excited. I was like Minnesota summer.
It
baby.
happened.
I was like, oh,
It fucking happened.
It fucking happened for sure. Minnesota summer. So I actually went to Arizona and Cali that summer
that's
too.
right. And then Colorado.
Yeah, that's right. I drove up and did a little tour.
Shout out Joe.
Did a little tour. What's up, Joe? I miss you, buddy. Actually, I saw Joe this year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I drove, did a little tour. This was back when I was still working at Burrow, and I had to save money. Burrow and Vans. I was on 2 jobs at this time, just trying to save money to actually be able to go on like little trips, because I wasn't really making any money from content or doing anything.
Yeah, I remember you being like, if I can just save $1,000, I have enough for the trip. And I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah, I didn't have any money.
That's crazy.
I didn't have any money, but I made it. I did make it up here. I made it up here in my shitty little Hyundai, and I guess I went fishing with Phoenix. Phoenix was there, and the car blew up on the highway, shot a rod through the block, and all the oil just like dumped on the side of the road. And I was like, well, that's really cool. That's really cool. Car that I spent $3,000 on.
You skipped the best part.
Which part?
So you had the Santa Fe.
Or wait, no, it was the
Hyundai Santa Fe.
Tucson.
Was it?
Tucson. Yeah.
Smaller.
It was small.
So you had that, and you're parking on the street, and like a couple nights we had these crazy like people coming through, and this is like on our neighborhood page, because I'm super white, and we have a neighborhood page where people talk shit about everything. No, this is exactly what it's for robbers. Yeah, I don't know why I get those letters, but I do. They were like, hey, there's people coming through at like 3 a.m. and they're opening people's doors and checking for money. Mm-hmm. They're basically thieves. And they weren't closing the doors, because if they closed the door, they would hear them. So everyone like woke up, the whole street the night before had their doors open.
Yeah.
I remember telling you, I was like, yo, Marshall, these people are like coming through, and you were like, nah, I'll leave. I don't think you like deliberately left your doors open.
No, I don't think I deliberately left them.
But I think we were pretty safe here for leaving the doors open, and they were unlocked. And so we woke up, and I think I came home. You were asleep still, and I was like, "Hey,
that's right.
your fucking doors are open."
Yep.
And then we got you up, and you went out there and you checked, and your lockbox was
my
gone.
lockbox with my passport, my birth certificate,
Social Security card, right?
Social Security card. That was
your driver's license.
That was the big 3. No, I had my driver's license.
Oh, you did. Okay.
That was the big 3. Luckily, my wallet was
so overnight. Your identity practically got stolen.
Gone. Yeah, so that was rough. I was like, wow, that sucks.
Then it was a week later that you blew the car up on I-35, which is about an hour with the major highway.
Yep.
So you get a ride here, and I'm like, damn, dude, this is rough.
This is not good.
You lost your identity.
Not great.
You lost your car.
I remember getting a job at Aldi.
Don't have a job, so you were like, all right, so I got to get a job. Because you were like a week away from going back to Texas at the time.
Yeah, I was not far. out.
So you were like really bummed because
yeah.
you didn't have a car, obviously, and you lost your identity, which is whatever. So you got a job at like a mile down the road at Aldi.
Aldi job, the Aldi days.
Beep. Beep.
I was fast though, all right. I was the fastest scanner at that Aldi, okay?
Fastest scanner.
I made a little game out of it. It was like how they had a percentage score, right? In the thing.
Oh, that's right.
They had a percentage at the end of the day.
Yeah, it wasn't like 100. You could get over 100%.
Okay, yeah. So there was like this is I made it a little.
Doesn't make any sense.
This was how I worked. How long ago was I at Aldi for?
How old are you?
How long was I at Aldi for? 2 or 3 months?
2 months.
2 months, 2 full months, and I was just like, no car. I had the bike and like
funny story about those bikes.
Monticello.
We got 2 bikes from Nicolette's grandpa because he sold his house and didn't want them. They were Japanese bikes. They folded up into the size of a briefcase.
They were sick.
So they're like little city bikes with
zero suspension. So you probably saw it in the video, actually, the recent video that I just did. It's in there. But yeah, so I made a little game out of scanning at Aldi so I could get. I don't know. I was bored, right? Monticello was not that exciting.
It wasn't back. It's better now.
It's a little better now, yeah, for sure. But back then, I remember trying to explore every nook and cranny, and I was just like,
not much to explore.
Man, after 10 p.m., it's lights out.
I don't know what happened. It's weird right now. It's kind of hot.
It's kind of pop. Yeah, no, I remember we walked out of the gas station with Brian, and I was like, there's all these old people here. There was like people, like young people.
Control Alt deleting everywhere.
I was like, whoa.
Sick.
And yeah, so it was not popping back then. I remember being very bored, and it just sucked.
And you couldn't. And there's like
a little
3
bit of fishing.
spots within like a couple miles. If you go like 10 miles out, there's 1,000.
Yeah.
If you're like within 3 miles, there's like 2.
So I did bike to the lake the one
fish
time
much.
with the paddle board. That was cool, but other than that, it was like not worth it. So finally saved up, bought Ethel. That was crazy.
Let's tell a story about Ethel.
Bought Ethel. So we were
either you or me found it on Facebook. I think I found the original listing on Facebook.
I think
for Ethel in St. Cloud, which is like 45 minutes from here. And I sent it to you, and you're like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool. Should we go look at it?" So we went and looked at her. And it was the guy's name was like Steve or Tim or something super awesome. And he was so chill.
He was pretty
chill. And you lowballed the fuck out of him.
I didn't lowball the fuck out of him. Come on.
You did.
Come on.
Kind of.
Come on, man.
But he did it. He took it. It was a great offer.
It was $4,700 was the listing, and it went down from 5.
Oh, that's right.
It was $4,700, and I was like, I looked at it. We looked at it all over, and you
said,
were like,
"Can you do 2?"
I did not say that. I looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, can you do 4?"
4.
And he was like, "Sure." He just took it right there. I was like, "All right."
So sick.
I was like, "Whoa!" And immediately, right then, I was like, "Oh my god,
something's wrong."
Like it just worked. Like it worked, and then we went and got cash, and we picked her up and drove her back, and
crazy.
Drove around fine. And then the next day,
dumbass. To this day, dumbass. I'm like
one of my worst plays. One of my worst plays ever.
You're gonna drive your car to work? No, man. I'm gonna take the bike. And you had just started selling beanies. So you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to work. But first, I'm gonna ride the bike. I'm gonna drop some beanies off, which is on the other side of fucking town. Aldi's here. My house is...
Okay, this is a small town.
Aldi here.
Don't act like...
My house here. But the fucking post office is here. And it's across the highway.
I know. That's pretty... Okay, I will say the pathways and stuff here are pretty decent.
They are.
Like the biking paths are pretty decent.
I'm just being dramatic for effect.
It's okay. It is dramatic. It is a little dramatic.
So, I'll play it from I'm just coming home on the highway. And I get a call from Marshall. I'm like, oh, why did he call me? He's at work. Oh my God. I just got hit by a car.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And Nicolette's like, what? And I'm like, he just got hit by a car. You're like, oh, my shoulder. I got hit by a car. Come over here. I'm like, where are you? And you told me where you were, and you like hung up. I'm like, first off, I'm like, yeah, Perkins.
I'm at the intersection by Perkins. That's so funny.
Oh, Perkins.
That is so funny.
And then I'm like, how do you have your phone? If you get hit by, it was just weird.
Yeah.
Because so when you said he got hit by a car, I was like, he's fucking dead. But you're calling me. How do you have your phone?
Alive. Well, okay, so my perspective, I'm going across.
You're on the bridge of the highway. You went across the off ramp. So there's a crosswalk from the bridge over the off ramp to Perkins.
So it's at an intersection.
Yeah. So anyone exiting the highway had to get onto the main road.
Right.
And they were waiting there.
And so I ride in front of this car, and he takes off, and I literally, I remember being lifted up off the ground. I was just like, oh shit. And I got lifted up off the ground and thrown fucking 10 feet in front of into the middle of the intersection. And the dude stopped immediately, and I braced and landed on my shoulder and rolled, and then I just tried to stand up, and then I immediately was like, I laid back. I felt my arm just hanging. I was like, oh shit. So I laid back down, and the first immediate reaction was just call Kyle. That was all I could think about was calling Kyle. So I just immediately reached into my pocket with my other hand and just dialed Kyle, and I was just laying there on the ground oh God. And I could feel it wasn't painful, but it was oh shit, there's something wrong.
Did people come out right away?
Oh yeah, everybody jumped out of their cars, and they were all getting around me, and it was wild. I was just laying there oh fuck, this hurts really bad. Damn. I was freaking out.
It was weird timing because we were literally 5 minutes from where you were on the highway.
So you were driving already, so it was actually crazy. I don't know. I figured, I guess in my brain I was oh, other people are gonna call the ambulance, so I'm just gonna call Kyle.
Dude, I ran up. I'm not a good runner, but I ran up the hill. expecting to see your brains spilled out on the ground.
And I was fine.
And you were sitting up. I was like, oh.
I remember holding your hand though. I was like, fuck, dude. I think honestly, like now looking back, I'm like, it didn't hurt as bad as it was shocking.
Yeah.
Like everything was just, it happened was just so like, oh shit. I got hit by a car.
Which is like crazy because I told everyone like Marshall got hit by a car and then you freak out and then you're like, well, he's all right. He's fine.
He's fine. The
car wasn't going fast.
You took me to the ER, or no, the ambulance took me to the ER. You met me there.
Yep.
And they fixed me up. I mean, that was pretty much it. It wasn't really
scanned you.
It wasn't really that crazy. They were like, damn, your bone's broken. Pretty bad. Your collarbone's fucked. Your collarbone's shattered. And I was like, oh, well, that's great. And
a good bit of separation.
I had a little bit of surgery, and now I'm a cyborg.
Oh, you don't get to skip over the surgery.
Which one? Which part of the surgery? You gotta tell me this is your perspective.
We took you to surgery, and they do the surgery, and then we get you home, and they gave you like...
Oh, they gave me some fucked up... They gave me Percocets.
Okay, yeah. If you don't know, Marshall's straight edge, so like no drink, never tried anything ever. So they gave him a fucking honking pill of Percocet.
A perk, dude.
Which is intense.
Popping off the perks.
Pops on that night. I remember you walked up the stairs, you're like, dude, I get why people like these. I feel invincible.
Dude, I remember.
I have a video saved on we had to clip this in the video. I have a video of you saved on my phone of you look like a sloth going down my stairs.
Dude,
because your body was moving in like Jello speed. Dude, and you were like, I can't go faster, I'll fall.
I remember you had to hold me up.
You fucking text me, you go, hey, I have to pee. And I was like, go fucking pee then. I was like, no, I need help. Because you were spinning.
You gotta help me, man. I'm spinning. I need you to hold me up.
I literally had to hold your shoulders while you peed so you didn't fall over.
That's
such a bonding moment.
Oh my God,
strange.
dude. Oh, that's good friend.
And then you vomited.
I did vomit.
Yeah, because of
well, dude, the perks just like I couldn't keep anything down. I was like throwing up water. But it was like if I tried to get off them, I was like, oh, this really hurts bad. So it was like it was just
it was like 2 weeks of recovery where you were like pretty.
Yeah, 2 weeks where it was pretty rough, and then after that, I was like, okay. I did drive back home to Texas in a sling, which was pretty.
You were ready. You were fucking.
I was so fucking.
I didn't take it personal, but I knew you were ready to get the fuck out of my house.
I was ready to get the hell out of Monticello.
I'm surprised you ever came back to Monticello after that summer.
It seems like every time I come back, it's like funny because I can drive to Florida, I can drive to Minnesota. Every time I get here,
you came here for the tournament.
Something fucks happens.
Earlier this year, he comes here for the tournament. Your spring blew up.
Like an hour
exploded an hour from our house. So then we're sitting in our driveway, we fix it, and then you're literally here 3 months later, and your brake line starts pissing everywhere, and your brakes are shot. So there it is. Right. Ethel's in the driveway. We're fixing her up. It's cursed.
There's a Monticello curse. It's the power plant.
Weird.
It's something about the power plant.
Nuclear.
The nuclear energy. It's like radiating. There's some bad aura in this town, but
I know. Not in the shop though.
This
is a safe spot.
This is a safe spot, dude. I always feel safe in here.
All the asbestos and mold. I don't know.
How much resin microballoons are in your lungs?
My paint wall. Yeah, it's very. This place is cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I think we dressed it that summer as like your villain summer. You know, like a good villain story starts where they get
your villain arc.
They get like molested or something. Like, Monticello molested you.
I did get molested. That was
life. I mean, just bent like you over.
Bang, bang, bang. Oh dude. God. That summer beat me up bad.
That was probably the hardest summer I've ever gone through with a child. You being my child. Right. Because I was like, dude, you were depressed.
Dude, it was like sad.
It was hard.
Sad. I'm not like a very sad person, but oh my God, that's rough. Dude. I really tried to make the best of it too. I was like trying to like figure it out, and I was just like, dude, this just sucks. It keeps kicking you down.
It's crazy because I kind of remember after that happening, like we took some time where we didn't talk for a while. It was a couple weeks after, but like because we had seen each other all day, every day, we hadn't like ever lived together.
Right.
So it went from like, hey, this is a good friend of mine. We do everything to like, holy shit, you're in my house for 3 months. Yeah. It was all in. Yeah. So I remember we took like it wasn't like a break from each other, but it was like, we just didn't like talk every day like we usually do.
Yeah, we were text here and there.
Yeah, and I remember being like, man, hopefully this didn't like fucking ruin all this shit.
No, dude, it made it better.
Just take some time.
It made it better, dog. I really do. I really do appreciate everything you've done. Seriously. Like I said, I want to come on here and tell this because I feel like that we're so far along now, and this is like old news to us. We know this story, and probably people from 2 years ago who still watch my stuff know this story. But
there's a lot of new people.
No clue. So they're like, dude, who is this guy? Like, but this is it. I wanted to get on here and hop on and say all this because this is super important to me. This is what has shaped, the homeless fisherman. I wasn't really the homeless fisherman until I was with Kyle. You know what I mean? Like you were like, you put me there, and definitely helped me out a lot,
Thanks, dude.
I appreciate it, dog. I really do.
Vice versa for Throwback. You have very much just like, not as much like shaped, but just encouraged and guided and helped me like funnel the vision of like, this is what we want. You are a straight shooter when it comes to baits. You tell me what you like and what you don't like. You give me your honest opinion, which is not something I'm normal. Like that's not the norm here in Minnesota. It's beat around the bush and say, yeah, sure, great, that sounds good, and then talk. But like, and then be like, yeah, I didn't. Like
in Texas, like, there's a difference between the people in Texas and not in a bad way. None of this is in a bad way. This is just how it goes. You guys are
very true.
Overly cautious, where you come in and you have to be really gentle in the landing. In Texas, and this is why I always get homesick for Texas, is because I appreciate that straight up Southern hospitality, honest, old fucking head mentality. You know what I mean? Where they come up to you, and if you bump into someone at the gas station or you do something weird, they're gonna be like, hey man, why the fuck did you do that? They just tell you. And I appreciate that. Sometimes it's harsh and sometimes it's hard to hear, but at the end of the day, you're like, damn, I'm glad that guy was honest with me. And I was like, I remember telling you, it was originally with the Glide. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna let you put out anything that's less than like exceptional. You know what I mean? Right. Something that's gonna be a fucking game changer. And then so many prototype retros where I was like, hey man, this is a piece of shit. And like
that was like 2 years.
Yeah, it was a while. It was definitely over like a year and a half, 2 years where we had some that were close. Honest, you know what's funny is that first one you sent me was closer to the end result than any of the middle ones.
Yeah, that's
now that I like think about it, I'm
so
like
dumb.
The fucking like 11 prototypes out or however fucking many.
More than that.
But it's just like, I think that's super important, you know what I mean? And and we understand each other, and we know that I'm not doing this out of fucking not trying to make you feel good, dude. I want to fucking make something great. You know what I mean? That's why I really do, like, when I'm fishing Throwback shit, this is stuff that I have a part in. So you guys know that, like, this has my, like, not a seal of approval all the time, but like, kind of.
Yeah, we believe in it.
This is stuff that I do believe in, and I've had a part in where I got to say, hey man, this would be better, or hey, this works great as it is. You know what I mean? And that's,
like with the cheat code, for example, you were like, I can't catch anything on it. You were like, it doesn't wake really. So I was like, you know what? We'll put that into consideration. We had a couple other issues with it, and we redid it, and it wakes a lot better.
Right. There's all these little tweaks going forward. It's all always changing, and that's what I like about this game too. Right. This is such a fun thing to be involved in because there's always something creative, something happening.
And the fish are always different. I feel like we've definitely made baits where it's like there's a bait. Yeah. If you can make a bait like this for this bite, this time of year, that'd be perfect.
Right. That's what's fun though. That's what's fun is making the different baits that are out there. You know what I mean? And then it comes in waves too. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're so essential to like Throwback and my like workspace because I'm not on the water. You have like infinite knowledge of fish and water. You're on the water 300 days a year. I'm on the water 30 days if on a good year. Right. So like I can't be a bait builder and a fisherman sometimes. You can't. I have to be a bait builder.
You can't. And honestly, like, I love Mickey. I love you, Mickey. If you're listening to this somehow, I love you. But he says that, how is this guy a bait builder? He can't even fish. Well, there are certain scenarios where I'm like, you could be really good at tinkering, right? But just to be really good at tinkering at this high level, you can't put in enough time on the water. You know what I mean? So there becomes like a relationship here. Where,
I feel like Gilbert is like the exception,
the meat in the middle, and so Mickey too. Mickey too is the meat in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether that's time before, whether that's time before he made a bait or during or after, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, but I do think that every situation is a little different. Like, not every bait builder has to be a great fisherman. Like, that's just not how it works. Some people are just really talented at making things. And if we're really talented at communicating to each other about what I want versus what you want and how to make it happen, cool stuff happens. I feel like a lot of the stuff we put out has been super cool. Yeah. And I'm stoked on it. Like, I'm always stoked on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not peg myself as an amazing fisherman. I think I'm a good fisherman. I don't get to fish a lot. But I will say one thing is that like when we make a bait, I do like to make sure that like it's people understand. It's one thing for you to catch on it, but I want to catch on it too. So it's like, listen, I made the bait. I want to catch on the bait. I want all our guys at Throwback to catch on the bait. Like we believe in our product without just putting something out that. Right. There is one bait. I'm gonna say this because it's what it is. Only you've caught and fish on it. I've never caught a fish on it before. You know what it is?
Oh, the mob.
The mob.
That's okay. I will say that's a little different though.
Yeah, but you've even caught fish in this. I just don't put time on the mob.
That is true. But that's also like. It's the same thing as a wake walker. You know, they're very similar. It's a wake walker.
Yeah,
like
giant.
It's just a big wake walker. Yeah. Really, majority of fish here don't give a fuck about something like that. I can force feed them. I do force feed them every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I want to catch one on the ghost, or I want to catch one on the mob. Like I can make it happen. But majority of fish, like you.
See, I don't have enough time on the water to be like, I'm not force feeding this.
Exactly. You can.
If I don't think they're gonna catch, I can force feed them a wake walker because I know they'll eat it.
You catch bigger fish on the wake walker anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't catch giant fish on the mob up here. I don't think I even had one over 4 on the mob.
No.
So, and even on the ghost, like, okay, one on the ghost that was big. But,
one on the ghost.
But yeah. Before we're done here, what 9:53? We got some questions on Instagram. You ready to do some questions?
Yeah.
Let's do some questions. We'll run through this for a little bit.
Okay, I'm excited.
I kind of like the format here of answering questions at the end of it.
Okay.
This is pretty fun. So let's see how many questions we got.
Got some good ones for us.
There's a decent amount, so I'll just kind of run through. Sorry, I can't answer every single one of them. There's a lot, but
let's do every one.
Every single one? There's a lot. There's a lot.
We'll keep them short and sweet.
Okay, so
answer-wise.
I will say I see a few here that are like, how did y'all meet and become friends?
Okay.
There you go. We already talked about that. Boom.
Watch the video.
I see a lot of gear questions. We're not really talking about gear.
No, give me the gear questions. I'm a gearhead.
No, some of these are like.
let me say wrong answers only.
Some of these are gear questions for me. What rod, what reel, all that. You know.
What bait is that?
You know the usual. Let's see. I saw a couple of really good ones over here. Let's see, most memorable fishing story. That's a pretty decent one. Or at least one that comes to your mind immediately right now. We'll kind of speed run these, see if we can get a bunch done.
Most memorable fishing story.
For me, honestly.
Rob's cabin.
Fish. Really? His big one? Or
No. You and I at Rob's cabin.
Okay, yeah, that was a really good
one. So we had never met Rob before, and we drove 4 hours into the middle of nowhere. This is just so on par with. That's why it's not even the fishing story. It's the essence.
Memorable.
Us doing something ridiculously dumb. But we drove 4 hours into the woods to meet this man we've never met before. And then we fished with him all day and had this insane day of fishing.
Fun.
So it was awesome.
It was so fun.
Just blind faith.
Good old me and Kyle and Robert Bigelow. That was a fun trip. Caught a fish on the mother.
Yeah.
Caught a big fish on the bunny.
Fish.
Saw some big. Had a 6+ blow the mother out of the water. Just
small.
And it was. You know what was really funny about that trip? My favorite part is us kind of like. We have an energy, right? Like a goofy energy when we're out on the water. We like to fuck around. And Rob had this like, Rob, I love you, right? This is so funny to me though. It makes me laugh every time because I still get this energy where Rob immediately, he comes out and he's very formal and he has this, not a shield up, but he's got his guard.
I told Rob, I asked Rob the other day, I was like, when did you become so classy?
Right, he's always very nice and very kind, and he doesn't want to offend anybody. He's a very good person, and so we're like throughout the day we're like sitting there like prodding, we're prodding at him a little bit, and we can like see him starting to crack, and he's like smiling a little bit at some of the fucked up jokes or like whatever, and it's just like. And then finally it's the end of the day, last 2 hours, and we're all just fucking laughing, awesome. Having a great time. That was such a good memory. I really did love that.
Yeah,
Rob,
that was a good
we
one.
love you guys.
I do love you, Rob.
We love you, Rob. Let's see. Bros before hoes. Damn right. That's not a question, but that's a good one. Favorite fishing snack?
Oh, Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos.
I tried to grab some in my mouth though.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Recently, I've been hitting the Twix bars.
Or you know what? Straight up granola. Not granola. Trail mix. Trail mix on the boat kind of hits it different.
Dude, I really fuck with some caffeine in a Twix bar. That just goes hard right now. I know I'm on a different thing right now.
That's all right.
Let's see here. Let's go. Trying to find all these good ones. There's a lot on here. Trying to find some good ones. What's the process of making these beautiful baits? It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of love.
Yeah, that's a long-winded question.
That is a long one. What is your favorite bait that you made?
My favorite bait that I made?
That's an insane question because this probably changes every year.
Yeah, it changes
every month.
When I made the bunny, I was obsessed with that for summer. Last year I was obsessed with the chickadee. Still pretty obsessed with Chickadee. Right now I'm obsessed with probably the Metro Glide.
Yeah, the Metro is fucked up.
Stupid.
That is I hate that bait.
It is. I told someone this the other day. I was
Dude.
like, I could outfish anyone,
Bro,
with a Senko with a Metro Glide.
Well,
Sometimes I feel that way.
Dude,
it's not true, but I feel that way.
Like, dude, I mean, it is.
It's a confidence.
It almost makes me mad because I go out and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and catch a fish on this, and I throw this, and I'm like, if I threw the Metro right now, I would get fucking obliterated on every cast. Yeah, you just went to
Florida, and every video you put out, I was like, it's just the Metro Glide again.
It's over and over. I almost feel bad because I'm like, dude, how many Metro Glide videos can I put out? But that's
it
like
never gets old.
I don't know if that's the best bait you've ever made, but it's like.
It's my favorite at the moment.
It's a good fucking bait, dude. Look, here's why I think I am not a little glide person. Like, I don't really like little choppy. Like, they're fun, okay, but I don't like. That's not something I pick up and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't really.
Yeah.
I like a bigger, wider, slower glide. The Negotiator's a little different because it kind of has that vibe. That's the only one that I really vibe with. But the Metro is the one where I'm like, okay. I'll give in, dude. Brain Rock Glide. Give me that thing.
Brain Rock Glide.
Biggest fish caught on a throwback. Any DDs? We actually do have one DD.
10 pounds, 7 ounces. Shout out Griffin.
Mr. Griffin.
Gieslin.
Mr. Griffin.
My Georgia homie.
I'm coming for you, though. Get ready.
Florida.
I love you, Griffin. I'm coming for you. And I've had, what was my big one?
8,
9.
10?
No, I had a 9.
Did you? Oh, yeah, you get a 9.
Flea shed
9 flat, right?
I had an 8-0.
That's cool, though. The flea shed's cool.
8-0 Wake Walker, 8-0 Chickadee, 9-4 on the flea shed.
Yep.
That was cool. And then 8 something on the flea shed, too.
Yeah, you've got...
A few.
Top 5, you got the biggest top 5.
A few good ones. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that. And then Caleb has a good one. He's an 8 something. So yeah, I'm 3 out of top 5, I think, right in there somewhere. Unless Griffin's got 8s and 8 Griffin's.
Some kid got an 815 on the Metro the other day.
Jesus, I need to step it up. It's okay. Metro.
Yeah, crazy.
I think the Metro in Texas in the fall is going to be really good. Let's see. Will there ever be tilapia pattern cheat codes?
Yes.
There you go. Yes, easy. Is girth more important than length? That was from the 9-inch hammer himself.
9-inch hammer. Love you, Brian.
I think 9 inches is more important than anything else. Oh my god. When are you gonna drop the pink lemonade glide? Considering when this episode drops, it will probably already be out, to be honest.
Really?
This
is backlogged.
This will be backlogged. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll post it early. But
we're aiming for
go ahead.
September.
So
late September is what we're thinking. So if it's out before this, there you go.
Yeah.
Late September.
But
it'll be announced long before.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot, right? There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of Metros, pink lemonade Metros. If you guys want to find drop dates, this is for anyone who wants to get a bait. Follow the Throwback Instagram page
and sign up to our newsletter because we just started getting every week we post up like literally this kind of chit chat. I just ramble on a newsletter every week and I give you drop updates. So
the newsletter goes hard. I really do actually enjoy the newsletter.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I like to ramble.
Let's see. What are some things in bait making that get overlooked or are harder than they seem?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah. Literally come to the shop and like I'll walk you through I'm not angry about it because just people just don't get it.
Yeah.
But like
why is that bait so expensive?
Of getting a resin bait to not shed your paint. Like making paint stick, you saw it. That took me 2 years to figure out this process. And it's an expensive process. Like we have a routine now, we do it in batches. But like the process that we go from pouring a bait to getting it ready to paint is incredibly extensive and people don't understand that.
It's funny because, people ask all the time, why are they so expensive? And you price them based on cost and then time to make and then,
And time that took to make.
Right. No. That's what that's what I'm saying. That's not even really including all that came before. You got to think about the 2 or 3 years worth of R&D that we had to do to get to the
Retro Glide should be $1,200 a bait.
Right, because if you think about all the time put into it.
How much stress I went through for that?
That's why they're
I
expensive.
just had doctor bills of stress because of that bait.
Right. Honestly, gray hairs. They're coming in.
I do.
40.
Shut up.
How do you like your eggs, Kyle? How do you like your eggs?
So it's crazy. That's a good question.
I know.
Usually scrambled, but I started doing this.
That's from Noli's. Noli's Fishing.
I like that.
He's there every time, dude.
Okay, so I'll fry them on one side, and then I'll flip them over and fry them so they're like medium well. So they're not running in the middle, but they're a little soft, and it's so good.
I like
And then
that.
I'll put a little butter on top.
Yep. You like let the butter melt in the yolk.
Yeah, it's just like a butter egg.
Yeah. It said how does Kyle like his eggs, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer this too. Dude, I've been really fucking with the scrambled eggs recently.
Yeah.
I do bacon first in the cast iron, and then dump the scrambled eggs into the grease and cook them until they're still a little runny.
Yeah.
And then dump them on the plate, and they kind of finish, and they're just so soft and fluffy, dude. Little sharp cheddar cheese, little sea salt.
Ground beef and eggs and scrambled eggs is real good too.
I've been having so much of that. I'm like, I don't want any more ground beef ever for the
But
rest
in
of
general,
my life.
pretty good.
Yeah, in general, for sure. If you could throw one bait for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Metro Glide.
That's really hard. A worm. A G-Crack bellow stick 5.8.
That's fair.
Let's see. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a couple.
Give me 10 rapid fire.
What?
10 rapid fire. I'm gonna answer as fast as I can.
No, this is really it. I mean, the other ones are like, what rod are you fishing? What reel are you fishing for me? But, you know, that's, we get that one a lot. Who's the coolest dude in the industry and why is it Adrian?
Adrian.
It's Adrian. Adrian's cool as fuck.
Oh, he said that too.
What?
That was his question, wasn't it?
Who?
Was it
No, it wasn't actually. It was Trevor Johnson.
Why is it Adrian? It is Adrian.
It is Adrian,
He's
dude.
the coolest dude.
How big was your PB and what'd you catch it on?
7 ounces even, and I caught it on a Woody. The little brown one in Florida.
Woody's not here anymore.
That was the craziest day
Yeah.
fishing.
I remember you sending me photos. I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
dude.
that was wild.
I should be there.
Sneakiest pond of my life.
Oh my God. I want to go to that one, but
I'm gonna figure it out. We'll figure out a way.
That's a tough one. Okay. When is that Whopper Plopper dropping? Looks sick.
It is sick.
Is it up there?
If we can figure out a way to make our own tail, so we're not stealing Whopper Plopper tails, it will happen.
We want to make it different,
Yeah.
for sure. That's what we talked about, because it's like...
But dude, it's so good though.
It's literally a Whopper Plopper tail attached to a
okay, but
chicken
hear me out before you give me shit.
No,
It's heavier. So like the Whopper Ploppers being so light, they like make the noise.
Right.
But that being heavier, it's like...
No,
it's
it definitely
so sick.
it definitely is a little different, but it's
it's 100% a Whopper Plopper.
So
It's a whirly bird.
We're working on it.
Yep.
We're working on it. We'll maybe make something cool out of it.
Yeah. Feel confident.
All right. That's it. That's everything. I think so.
Sweet, dude.
All right. Amazing. That was a
good episode.
That was a fun one. We needed to do
fun.
that one. Hopefully this was a good catch up for everyone who doesn't know who you are, doesn't know who I am, maybe. I don't know.
We went down memory road.
Memory lane. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That is the story of Mr. Kyle and Mr. Marshall.
We'll have to do another one because I feel like there's so many little cracks in these that we could dig into. But we'll save that for another day.
I think the next one's gonna be with Mr. Brian 9 Pound Hammer. I want to do some.
Sick.
We're gonna do some sit downs, but
what was I gonna say? I was gonna say this is a good groundwork. Now that it's documented, we never like talked on camera about our past.
No, we haven't. That's what I'm saying.
Now people can come to this and find it, and then we'll dig into stuff another time.
No, exactly. So that was fun. That was fun to run down. Now you guys know. Now you guys know the story. And next time we'll be talking about what will we be talking about? I don't know. We'll be talking about something.
Some stupid stuff will happen. We have Texas trips we can talk about.
Jesus.
Yeah, we have so much stuff.
We have a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get Rob on too.
And we'll have some new baits to talk about.
True. Oh, that's right. We got some cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm
excited. So excited. I can't wait to tell people about all the stuff we can't talk about right now. It's going to be super cool, dude. Okay, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. All right. Are we not going to end it like this? No, I'm going to end on a normal note. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Go support Throwback. I'm going to get up like an old man with my old knees. Cut!
It was my grandson.
Cut the show.
It was my grandson. He was sitting right there. If you found him, he was
you need to get me a damn beer, boy.
There he is. My grandson.